Breaking: Hunter Biden found guilty on all charges in his federal case over misleading on a gun form. It's big news. It's big news for the man sitting in the Oval Office, the President of the United States, Joe Biden, his father. And with that, we'll bring in White House correspondent Jillian Turner. She's at the White House. What's happening there, Jillian?
Hi, Kaylee. Well, President Biden, as you mentioned,
Dude, this is so funny. They're literally doing the same thing that CNN and MSNBC was doing for the Trump trial. Bro, look at this. Yo, I love this country. We are so fucking stupid, bro. They are doing the exact same thing MSNBC was doing. Now, obviously, with like Trump, he was the former president. Like with Hunter Biden, it's the president's son. It's a little different, but you know, he's really about to go to prison for this shit. It'd be really funny if he did. Lock him up. I think there's nothing funnier than this trial causing Republicans to be like, listen, if you're inebriated, you can't own a gun. Federal gun laws are there for good reason. That's right. We need more gun control in this country. I've said this before, but Hunter Biden being prosecuted and being found guilty of a thing that like every Republican has done at a certain point. If he had also been found guilty of being like a deadbeat dad that doesn't pay child support, this would literally be like the most right-wing thing that you can get caught doing. Now, let's be real. This would not be happening if Hunter Biden wasn't Joseph Robinette Biden's son, or if Joseph Robinette Biden hadn't been the president. Ultimately, though, lock him up, I say.
Is here at the White House. We are actually expecting to hear from him, see him publicly on camera at 1:30 when he is headlining a gun violence. Dude,
this is awesome. Pure party resentment is going to cause the motherfucking criminal justice system to start like addressing criminals on either side of the political spectrum for just pure resentment against the other side. Like, can you imagine we just start arresting CEOs and shit? When the Republicans are in power, Democrat CEOs go to jail. When Democrats are in power, Republican CEOs go to jail. Like, don't threaten me with a good time, man. I'm fucking on board with this shit. From prison abolitionist to capital punishment in 1 week. It's funny that Biden spoke at a gun safety conference after the verdict. Yeah. I mean, Hunter is kind of harsh in his vibes a little bit. His pappy's vibes.
We have a brand new statement issued by Ian Sams on behalf of the president himself. It says, as I said last week, I am the president, but I am also a dad. Jill and I love our son, and we are so proud of the man he is today. So many families who have had loved ones battle addiction understand the feeling of pride seeing someone you love come out the other side and be so strong and resilient in recovery. As I also said last week, I will accept the outcome of this case and will continue to respect the judicial process as Hunter considers an appeal. Jill and I will always be there for Hunter and the rest of our family with our love and support. Nothing will ever change that. We are now sort of standing by to try and learn as quickly.
Yeah, the reason why this is pretty funny is because, but surely, Hasan, unlike Trump's situation, this can happen to anyone. This is an edge case, right? No, that's the funniest part. This literally could happen to many Republicans. Many Republicans are not going to be running for president and simultaneously trying to pay hush money to a porn star that they had sex with, okay? Because they feel like the porn star is going to come out and it's going to hurt their chances of being elected. Almost every one of the Republicans celebrating this shit could also be swept away under identical terms. Like the Trump thing, they're not coming after me, they're coming after you, and I'm just in the way is bullshit. But for the Hunter Biden situation, the people, be careful what you wish for, man. You wouldn't want that shit coming after you, big dog. Oh my God, dude. American prison population would increase so dramatically. What were the charges? Lying on a gun purchasing form and being in possession of a weapon while being addicted to or using a substance that is illegal. Matt Gaetz agreed with you. The Hunter Biden gun conviction is kind of dumb, to be honest. Oh my God.
Will the president commute Hunter's sentence? That is a great question for the White House briefing rooms. We will see if it is asked. Judge, you mentioned, we heard appeal there, and Julian highlighted the president's mentioning appeal. But you note some of these grounds of appeal have already been tried and rejected.
Well, one of the things that Hunter did was in December of this year, his lawyers filed a motion arguing that the gun case charge should be dismissed because possession of a firearm by a controlled substance addict is unconstitutional under the Second Amendment, citing that 2022 Supreme Court case, which, of course, is the New York Bruin case. And the Third Circuit denied that. Now, whether or not the Supreme Court this year comes out and says, you know, we're going to take a look at that and decide whether or not something is rooted in history and tradition, which is a basis to continue it as a constitutional right, it exists there. But as Jonathan Turley said, and I think that we need to remember this, because going forward, everyone's going to say the Supreme Court still hasn't ruled on whether a drug addict can have a gun. This guy has been convicted of lying on a federal ATF.
Dude, there's nothing. Dude, this is so funny. Yo. You are nailing so many of your watchers right now. It's fucking nutty how you cannot lie on a federal form when purchasing a weapon. If this was a Republican being convicted under similar charges, they'd be like, the communist Biden regime is coming after all of your weapons. They want you unarmed. When it's Hunter Biden, they're like, yeah, we have to. Capital punishment is the only way that this freak will make sure that he is not a harm to the broader public. He has lied one time. He can lie again.
So whether or not the Supreme Court goes forward and says, you know, we're going to give everybody the right to have a gun, even a drug addict, which I find a little hard to buy right now, he still is different from the normal category of individual.
Yeah, the funny thing about what Judge Janine just said about SCOTUS isn't taking up the issue about whether a drug addict can own a gun. They are taking up the issue as to whether a convicted domestic abuser can. Yeah, that is currently something that the Supreme Court is looking at. And very likely their answer is going to be the Second Amendment is more powerful than restricting arms sales to convicted domestic abusers. And another funny aspect, I thought the judicial system was rigged. What happened? Well, sometimes it's good because it punishes our enemies.
So he is a convicted felon who has lied for that purpose.
You know, Kevin, we are less than 1 hour from President Biden giving remarks. Again, about an hour from when he learned his son is convicted. Take us, you've been in Biden world. What is happening now?
Well, certainly, I think the president is feeling the anguish right now of this decision, and we talked about this during the break. That this is a father that's worried about his son and relapsing, but he's also a president of the United States who has focused for a number of years, going back to his time in the Senate, on passing legislation that's going to stop gun violence in the streets, restrict the size of magazines, some of these assault weapons that are out there. So I think you can have two of these things be happening at the same time: a love of a father, a support of a father, a worry of a father. Hallie Biden threw out that gun not because she was worried about Hunter, using it in violence. She was worried about him taking his own life. And that now, there are more gun deaths by suicide in this country.
Bro, these are my lines. I say these words, not you. You're Fox News. Hello? Excuse me? What is happening right now? We are a nation of laws and order, and we need gun control now. They stole my flow bar for bar. What the fuck is going on, dude? Maybe the MAGA conservatives are right, dude. They're woke. These guys are woke now.
Then by murder for the first time in a long time. So I think you can still see the White House talking about the scourge of gun violence now with this as the backdrop.